Rooted. That's my word for today. That is my word that I have been carrying for the last 4 years. Rooted is a representation of everything that I have been feeling, especially what keeps me grounded and allow me to plant the seeds in life and to still give me that closeness of what I need and keep my mind, protect my peace, and everything that surrounds me deeply rooted. And so, my purpose here today is to really talk about some of the things that have inspired me, that has given me a sense of tranquility, but most importantly, I'm rooted in transformation, I'm rooted in purpose, and I've been rooted in abundance. But it hasn't always been easy. And I'll break it down in three pillars that I want to share with you all. One is being rooted in purpose. Every day that we wake up, what keeps us moving forward? What's at the core of who we are? Rooted in legacy and love, family, co-parenting, raising a teenager. For all of us who have experienced it or they are experiencing it right now, I can't wait to hear from you, because these are things that are taking us through our journey and helping us to understand what we're really made of. But most importantly, rooted in love, rooted in the world and wonder. There's so many wonders of the world. If you travel, people, culture, places, especially within your own backyards, and I say that literally and figuratively, but also in the city in which you reside, how can you touch people within, making those connections each and every day? So my purpose here is just kind of to share my journey on things that I have experienced. I'm 50 years old, and what that had looked like before and where I'm going tomorrow. Even though tomorrow's not promised, I live each day with purpose and making sure I understand that as long as I'm protecting my peace, I'm rooted in love, I'm always going to be rooted in transformation. So take this journey with me. Let's share. Let's think of new ways that we can become better versions of ourselves, not only just for the people that are watching us, but for those who have children. We are their mirrors, and they are our mirrors too. What they see is what they do. But most importantly, how are you moving forward? How are you changing the trajectory of your life? Let me give you an example. A year ago, so around a little bit, I was in a different space. I was having some financial troubles and things that I couldn't clean up myself, but I caused it. And that can have been like revolving debt. I was a season ticket holder, probably really couldn't afford that. But I had a lot of things and that were compounding, that were not doing anything for me. But what really happened that caused me to think more about my financial choices and the things that I was doing is when my windows in my bedroom started leaking. It was a thunderstorm out. The rain was coming down. There were some warnings out there, and all of a sudden, I was experiencing a leaky window. And with that, I had to contact a service provider, get a quote, and the quote came back $24,000. I'll pause. Yes, $24,000 without an emergency fund, and all I had was credit. So thank God I had great credit, and because I always paid my expenses on time, I've always invested, but when it came to having the liquid, I did not have anything on hand. So it was at that very moment I didn't like who I was becoming. I didn't like the feeling of not having a safety blanket. I invested, throughout my career in corporate America, and I still do. But when it came to just saving and having money readily available, I missed the mark big time. And so during that time, my aunt came to visit, and something in my heart said, just share what's going on with you. And I did, because I knew she was very financially savvy, her and her husband. And I figured she would have some best practices for me. And she mentioned Dave Ramsey, she mentioned Anthony Owens at the table, and various YouTube creators. And I started just watching them daily. And each day I put together a goal list. I led with, I want to lead with curiosity. I want to lead with learning. And then from there, I started saying, I'm going to watch a financial show every day. I'm going to budget balance my checkbook. And during that time, I had downloaded an app, Every Dollar from Dave Ramsey. And I started to really, and these are just recommendations that my aunt was giving to me. And I started to take heed and put it to work for myself. And eventually, I would say between September, probably that quarter, October, November, it was challenging. December, October, November, December, third or fourth quarter was rough. I was trying to use the app, really thought, okay, this is not working, not giving me what I wanted. But then I noticed I needed to kind of dig in a little more, right? Get rooted into this goal, into what I wanted, to where I see myself. And I did it. And I noticed that eventually, the more I started reading about financial books, I made it my goal to read 30 minutes every day, a financial book, watch a financial message on YouTube, a video. And then it started coming together, where eventually 6 months later, I was saving money, I was paying off debt using the snowball method. And eventually I started seeing myself come out of this financial ruin. And for some people may say, oh, it's not that much. Oh, you're doing great. I didn't have any student loans, but I had a car note. And of course I do get bonuses from my job. So that helps a lot to kind of accelerate that plan. But the difference is that before, when I received bonuses, I was using them to pay expenses and not putting them away towards my emergency fund. So once I shift my mindset and change my behavior, and remember, I have a child, so I really had to step away from what I was doing and start to step towards things that were going to benefit me, and that was paying off my debt. And so probably about 10 months later, I paid my car off. That was like $8,000 gone. So then I took that car note and started applying it to other expenses. I paid off my season tickets. Done. Never done that before. I've been a season ticket holder for about 5 seasons. This is the first season where I had paid off my tickets before the season started. And then also I started thinking more about saving more. I've always saved at least 15% of my investments. So when you hear that, pay yourself first, that means before you get your check, your gross income, you've already deducted amount to put into your savings, in your investment plan per se. Most corporations use Fidelity since they're more aligned with more employee-based funding. There's Vanguard out there, which I have as well. But I started investing more, and I started to see things grow. I'm thankful that I had parents who instilled in me about saving. I didn't listen more on the liquid side, but from the investment side, I really did take heed, and at least 15%. I started doing that with my first job when I graduated from college in 1999. So as I fast forward, I think about what's next? What do I want to do? What's important? And now I'm proud to say that I am debt free. I do have one credit card. I do carry a small balance, and that's just something that I pay off before the end of the statement cycle. And then also I invested more. So now I changed my investments, moving it from like 8 to 10 every 6 months. And then the next 6 months, I'll take it to 12 to 15. And thankfully, my company matches up to 6%. So the benefits there are astronomical, are very substantial, especially when it comes to compound interest. So for my future followers, the younger you are, the sooner you get to saving and investing your money, you will reap bigger rewards. And for those later on, hey, there is still hope that you get in there and you start making it happen for yourself. Because what we have to do is stop normalizing debt and really stop having that conversations about, I have this, I have that, I need to pay that. And let's start normalizing conversations about becoming debt free, about financial literacy. And not only if you have your legacies, your children, passing that on to them so they can pass that on to their children. It's really important. So this journey is going to be about wellness, purpose, and wealth. Say it with me. We're going to be rooted in purpose. We're going to be rooted in wealth. And we're going to be rooted in love. There's so many things. As you know, with any tree, it has many roots. And those roots really start to grow. And as they grow and spread out, it becomes stronger. That tree grows and really starts to establish itself. And that's what I want you all to do, become established. We're going to talk about rooted in peace as our co-parents out there. It takes a village, right? And I want you to know that you're not alone. And trust me, there may be some behaviors or things that we're doing to cause some of this feedback or maybe discourse with the other parent. But we must tell ourselves that the reason I'm doing this is not for me. It's bigger than me. It's for my children. It's to protect their peace. And so now we're rooted in wealth. We're paying off the debt. We're building a legacy. We're putting the tools in place that God has given us. We're planting new seeds within our children to help them understand and have a different relationship with money. It's not always about we don't have it, but maybe, you know what, I've already allocated my funds. My money is working for me this way right now or this month, but maybe next month we can allocate it. And when I started having those different conversations with my son, he started to appreciate all that mommy does, all that daddy does. I even had him one time help me balance my checkbook and, really just giving him a copy of my paycheck. And we started subtracting all the expenses. And I remember at the end, I heard him go, wow, we don't have that much left because everything is accounted for. And now I have an emergency fund, and I'm going to share with you the next time how I had to use that fund within probably 3 months of establishing it. And I still have my goal of $50,000. So I'm getting there. But be prepared for the unexpected. It's not about if it'll happen, it's when it's going to happen. And are you going to be ready? And I tell you, when it did happen, I was not stressed. I had a plan, and I knew everything was going to work out. So I look forward to us taking this journey together. It's going to be kind of rough and bumpy, but eventually we're going to land smoothly, and we're going to build a community of people that know that there is a will, there is a way, and you can do it in purpose, you can do it in love, but you can do it most importantly in peace. So I look forward to seeing you guys next week, and we're going to get into rooted in peace, co-parenting with love and protection. All right, stay tuned. Bye-bye. Oh, and before you leave, hit the subscribe and hit the like and share it with some friends, because what's to come next is going to be powerful, and I want y'all to be ready. I tell you, Sometimes God gives us a calling on our lives. Not sometimes, God gives us the path. He gives what we need. We just gotta be obedient to the calling. And I'm getting ready to be obedient, and I'm pushing through. I've worn many hats in my life. My number one is a mom. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a niece. I'm a corporate leader. I'm a philanthropist with Lenses of Love Foundation. I wore many hats in my sorority. But nevertheless, we all have a story to tell, and we don't have to be the expert. We just got to share the story for someone else. And that is healing. That's healing to anyone who takes it in and walk away with that one thing that can help them grow. So let's be rooted together. Bye-bye.